All right, before I go start my workout, I'm going to go ahead and take my pre-workout. I mentioned it earlier, but I thought to myself, what better way to, drive home the message of the products, but actually the athletes affiliated with the companies to actually be seen consuming the products, especially close to contest time when obviously they're going to be doing things that they've been doing for months on end. So in the off season or most of the year, I actually don't use pre-workouts that much. Normally once to twice a week for a heavy back or a heavy leg workout. But with the show now being so close, I'm really trying to get my metabolism up. And so what I do is I basically call it saving my bullets. I actually don't consume caffeine all year, or maybe once a week with a pre-workout. And then the last month before a show, when I have just a little bit of weight to lose, I don't have to do as much cardio, I don't have to really restrict food. I can implement things like caffeine to really, work to my advantage. So this is something I do now to help give me pick-me-ups. I didn't rely on it all year, so now when I do take a scoop of Nitrolyze every day, it's going to work for me because, I didn't become resistant to products over time. So you should always come off products temporarily, 2 to 3 weeks after maybe doing, 2 months or so of the product. I do recommend that. So I'm going to do, it calls for 1 scoop. I'm going to do a little bit more. So not much more, probably 1 1/3. So I put that in there. This is my pre-workout. I take this about 25 minutes before I train, so I'll take this now. I'll drive over to the gym. By the time I get going and everything, this will be fully in my system. The only other thing I do is while I'm training, off-season and during pre-contest, I do sip on BCAAs while I train. So I'll do about 10 grams of BCAAs while I train. Personally, whatever you like. I like watermelon flavored stuff, so I usually go with that. So here we go. I'm going to mix up the Nitrolyze, which mixes easy, tastes good. You don't have to use a lot of water. Sometimes people go nuts and put too much water in these things. I actually did a little extra water. I wasn't thinking about it, but I did about 8 ounces. So there we go. I got my scoop in there. It really does. Everything tastes good when you're dieting, but it doesn't taste bad even in the regular year. Alright, let that beetroot get into the system. Hopefully get some pumps. A lot of times people complain they can't get pumps, close to contest. I admit it gets a little more challenging, but whatever, you just got to work through it. So hopefully I have a good workout, and after the workout I'll show you what I'm doing right now as far as, post-workout supplementation and meals. So thanks.